All right. So now we'll work on our profile page. Let's close all tabs. And in our view models, let's create a new view model. View models. We'll create a new view model. We'll call it, you guessed it right, profile view model. Okay. Public partial class profile view model. And on this also we are going to have posts related stuff. The base class is going to be base post view model. Right now, because the base post view model expects iPosts API in its constructor, we'll provide that. We'll create constructor of profile view model iPosts API. Post API will call base with post API. Now we are good. Let's use this profile view model in our profile page. So page is profile page xml.cs. We'll inject this and we'll set the binding context. Binding context equals this profile view model. Save it. Now it's time to register profile view model and profile page to our DI. So go to MAUI program and here where we have all our registrations, we'll say builder.services.add transient profile view model dot add transient profile page. Save it. Now we will work on this view model and this CS page only. View model and XAML page. Let's see what all we have on XAML page. We need to have the related stuff in our view model for this. First we have logout here, right? Power of .png. So first thing we'll define private async task and we'll say logout async. Let's add relay command on this. And here we can say command, but before that we need to set the data type of this page, X data type, and we need VM view model as namespace here. So we'll do that. XMLNS VM equals our view models, and then data type for this is going to be our profile view model. Then we will have IntelliSense support here. On this command we'll say binding logout command. Save it. We'll provide body later to this command. Then we have this row definition round rectangle user.png. That means we have user photo URL. Then we are going to have edit, then username, user email. That means user information. And all this information we already have, right? So let's reuse that information. So, and this can be changed. We can use logged in user underscore user, and we'll have it as observable property with, let's say, default value, default and default. We have four things: default, just default value. And then what we can do, we need this information from our auth service, right? We need to inject our auth service. We'll inject in constructor auth service. Then we can use here, we'll say user uppercase U, which is the actual property this observable property has created for us. For this user we are going to set auth service dot user. Save it, and we will know that this is not null. Move it upward. Now we can actually get rid of this thing because we know that when it leaves the constructor then it will have the values. Then let's provide these things. So instead of user.png we are going to have binding user.photo URL. Now what if user does not have photo URL? Okay, that means this current case we don't have photo URL. In this that case we should show the actual that user.png, the default icon only. So for that, let's do this. On this logged in user, we can actually create a uh, computed property here. We'll say public string, let's say just photo, and here we will uh, check if we don't have photo URL. Then we are going to use user.png, which is the default icon for us. If that's not the case, that means we have photo URL, so we are going to use this only. And I think we should do this same thing with post as well. Save it. Yeah, we should do this same for post as well. All right, we'll do that. But right now, let's work on this. So instead of this photo URL, we'll say user.photo like this. After that, we have this name here, username. So we'll say binding user.name. Then we have this email. Here we'll say binding user.email. Save it. After that, we have these two tabs, my post and bookmark post. Okay. So we have implemented the custom tab like UI. So we need to know that what is the current tab which is selected, right? For this, we can go to our view model and we will have one piece of state here. Okay. That is going to be reactive. That means it can change. That is going to be observable. We can say private bool, let's say is my post tab selected, and default value we will have true, and this is going to be observable property. All right, then we are going to have one more property, public bool. Here we'll say is bookmarks tab selected. Now this should be opposite of is post tab selected. We can have this like this, not is post tab selected. Now whenever we are changing is my post tab selected, at that time UI should be updated for this as well. So that means with this observable property we can use notify property changed for name of is bookmarked post tab selected. Cool. Now we need to have one uh, command here which will actually do this switching. Okay, for this we can say private void select tab or switch tab or change tab. Let's say switch tab async. Yes, we should have it async because whenever we are switching the tab we should refetch the data. So we'll say private async task switch tab async. Now we have two things. Either we can have one method which will handle both of these cases, or we can have two different methods. We can say select my post tab async, and then we can have one more method where we'll say select bookmark post tab async, something like this. Okay, so when we are selecting the my post tab, we'll say is my post tab selected equals true. Okay, and in this case we'll say fetch my post, fetch user post, and in the second one we'll say is my post tab selected equals false, and here we'll say fetch users bookmarked post, and both of these are going to be relay command, relay command and relay command. Let's quickly use these. So we'll go to profile page.xaml, and here First, we have this My Posts tab. Now, here we are going to have uh, triggers, because for the selected tab, we will have background color as this primary color and text color as white. If the tab is not selected, we will have background color as white on this border and text color as this primary color. Okay. So this is the thing we are going to use here. So that's why we are going to use data triggers here. Okay. Let's do this. So for first one, we'll say border dot triggers data trigger. Target type is going to be border, and in the binding, we are going to use binding, and is my post tab selected. Value we will check for true. The value is true. Then we'll say setter. Move this thing. Setter. We'll set property background color to the value as static resource primary. Okay, so for default case, we'll set it to white, and the text color will have static resource primary. Alright. Now, if that is not the case, it will do this. But we are changing the this background color of border, but in the same time, we should change this text color, this label's text color from primary to white. We have two approaches. Either we can have the same type of trigger on this label and all, or we can simply do this. We can have a name on this label. You can say x dot name. Let's say my post label, and then we can have one more setter inside this only, but we'll set explicit target name for this. We are saying this initial setter without target name, this is its parents only, that means this border only. But for this setter, it will be triggered when the is my post tab select is true. But we will say that this setter is for target this my post labels. For this target, we will say text color. We can say label dot text color to make it explicit that this is for label. We'll say color should be white in that case. Okay. Then we are going to have a gesture recognizer, border dot gesture recognizer, tab gesture recognizer. We'll say command, and this is going to be select, binding, select my posts tab command. Like this, save it, and we are good with our first tab. We'll do the same thing for second one. Let's copy all these things, the triggers and gesture recognizer. Go to the second border, paste everything, save it, and this time we'll say is my posts tab selected. We could have done with this one property only, right? We could have checked this for false, value false. So this is my post tab selected. Yeah, we could have done that as well, but as we already created, let's use that only. Is bookmarks tab selected? We'll do this, and on this label, we are going to have a name. Let's say bookmarked label. We'll say bookmark label like this, save it, and here the command is going to be select bookmarked post tab command. Save everything, and I guess we should test it now. After that, we'll continue further. All right, let's test it. Run. So we are on the home page. Let's go to profile page, and we can see the name. We can see this image. this email which is correct temp1 at gmail.com. We have this my post bookmark. Let's try to select it and we can see it is changing. That means this selection thing is working. I think we should have some spacing here, right? These are not looking good. So maybe after temp at gmail.com, this photo, this spacer. No, this is not that spacer, right? We have scroll view that is for this one. So before this scroll view only, inside this, we have this border for our tabs. That means this box view. Let's have some margin. So from left, right, 0, from top, bottom, 10 is fine. Save it. We are good. Right? Okay. So now we are good with this tabs. Now we just need to fetch the actual data on the basis of these tab selection. Okay, let's do that next. Profile view model. Here, now we need to handle two things. Before that, we have this logout async, right? Let's quickly provide body for this logout async. But before that, we'll ask for confirmation if a user really want to log out. Here we can say await shell dot current dot display alert. Display alert. Title confirm logout. Message, do you really want to log out? And then accept and cancel. We are going to use that. We'll say yes and no. If user pressed yes, then we log out. For logout, we have this auth service. Let's have it as a private read-only field. Auth service. Here we'll say underscore auth service dot logout. And after this, we'll navigate user back to the login page. So we'll say await navigate async // name of login page. And our logout async method is ready. Cool. We have fetch user post and fetch users bookmark post. So that means we need to have collection of these two things. Let's do this. So we'll say public observable collection, observable collection, observable collection of type post model, post model. Here we'll say my posts, move it a bit upward here with the default value as blank array. Let's copy this for our bookmarked posts. So bookmarked posts. I'm going to have both of these like this. Then we have endless scrolling for this as well. We have start index and page size for both of these store procedure and this service layer in API. Let's have these things as well. So we'll say private int underscore my post start index equals 0. And then for this one bookmark post also we are going to have private 0 is default, private int underscore bookmarked post start index. Okay. And for page size we can have default page size for both, so we can say private const int page size equals 10 items. Now we can start fetching these things. Okay, so let's create methods to fetch. So we'll say private async task fetch my post async. Inside this we'll say await make API call async, okay, and here we'll say var post equals await posts API dot, and not post API, this needs our user API, right? Let's inject I user API. So we are going to use this underscore user API to fetch the user's bookmark post and user's post. So we'll say underscore user API dot get user posts async, and here we need start index and page size. So we'll say my post start index and page size, and it is going to return us post DTO, array of post DTO. Okay. So first thing here, we'll check if posts dot length is greater than 0. Then we will add these posts to this my posts observable collection. Let's do this. So we'll say for each var p in posts, we'll say my posts dot add post model dot from DTO p, and we'll increase the start index. So my post dot start index plus equals posts dot length. All right, let's call this method. From here, await this. Now whenever we are changing, we are getting the fetch user post, my post. Same thing we'll do for bookmark post. Come here, we can maybe make a copy of this method. Say fetch bookmarked posts. Okay, get user bookmark post async. Instead of my post, we'll say bookmark post, and here start index is going to be bookmark post start index. Page size would be same. From here, we are going to call this method. Await this thing, save it, save everything. Now we are good. Now just we need to use this my posts and bookmark post collection on our profile page.xaml. All right. Now let's try to find out where are those things. So we have those inside this scroll view. Here we have one vertical stack layout and one border, second border, third border, fourth border. So all these borders are individual posts. For these things we already know, we have our data template selector for this. Okay, so we can have our the same post collection view with our post data template selector. All right, and then we don't need the scroll view. We had to use this because we were having these hard coded borders and all this to check the UI. Collection view has the scroll functionality built in, so we can get rid of the scroll view. Before that, let's add the collection view. So we'll say collection view grid dot row 1, this one, because now we don't need scroll view. We'll say grid dot row 1. Then we are going to set item source binding my posts, and when it should be visible, we'll add is visible here. It will be visible only if we have binding is my post tab selected. If this is visible, this is true, then we'll show this thing. Then we will use item template. Here we'll say static resource post data template selector. Okay, then we had this spacing of 15 in here, so we need the similar spacing here. So inside this collection view, we are going to say collection view dot items layout, linear item layout, orientation vertical, and item spacing of 15. This was this thing. We have this now. Save it. Let's make a copy of this. Paste it here. Save it again. Now this will be for our bookmarks tab. So we'll say is bookmark tab selected. This is going to be same. Item source would be bookmarked posts. And apart from this, we are good. Let's comment this scroll view out for now. Save it. Let's try to run the app. Now we should see the actual data for both of them. App is coming up. Okay, we are on profile page. Nothing happened. If you go to bookmark, get this. If you go to my post, now we got the data for this post. So first thing, we should have that activity indicator here that we don't have right now, because using this we didn't see anything. And then second thing is, when we first came to this screen, my post tab was selected, but we didn't get any data. That's because the way we have our profile view model, we are fetching the data, fetching my post when we are selecting my post tab. Then only we are doing this, right? So what we can do, this thing, this method, we can call it inside constructor without awaiting it, so that it triggers the fetching of the my post, because this is the default selected tab. All right, then let's add the, what we call it, the activity indicator. Let's remove scroll view. Now we don't need this. At the very end, we are going to have our activity indicator with is running property set to binding is busy, is busy, vertical option center, horizontal option center. And then if we see on the very top, the main grid, it has two rows. So we want this collection, this activity view, activity indicator to have grid dot row span 2. Save everything. Now we should be good. Let's restart. Okay, we have this. And on the profile page, we got this initial data. If you go to bookmark, you can see this activity indicator. Come back to push, we can see that activity indicator. Right? And if we press logout, we have this confirm logout. On bookmarks, if I click on this, it should open the detail page. Same thing. Go back, remove this from this. Now it didn't change. It should have removed from here. That will work later. Right now, if I go here and come back to this bookmark, we still have this. My post bookmark. Oh, because what is happening here, we are keep on adding the start index, right? This thing. But what should happen here? It should not do this. Let's have pull to refresh functionality here as well. Or maybe not pull to refresh. We can have just getting the next data. And if start index is 0, so when we are switching the tabs, then we should set the start index to 0. Yeah, let's do this. When we are switching the tabs, here we are switching this tab, we'll say underscore my post start index equals 0. And when we are going to bookmarks tab, we'll say bookmark post start index equals 0. So what is happening here, actually this is not getting removed from here because we have this already. Now the bookmark post start index is 1. And when it is 1, it is trying to get the new data and trying to add to this. And after that, what we should do when we have the start index 0, we should also clear the observable collections. Here we'll say my posts dot clear, and in not bookmarked posts dot clear, and the first one we should say my posts dot clear. This is how I am designing it. If you want to have retain this and not reload this entire thing when we switch the tabs, it's up to you. Okay, all right, save it. Let's restart. Okay, let's go to profile page. Let's go to bookmark. Now we don't have anything. Let's try empty collection view. Empty view of collection view property. Let if this works. So we have in bookmark section, right? Let's try to add here only. So we'll say collection view dot empty view. Let's have label. We'll say text, and there are no bookmarked posts. If I do this, save this, here we can see this. You see, sometimes it is very random. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. Let's move it to the vertically, not vertical, horizontal options as center. Let's increase the font size to maybe 18. Save it. And then maybe let's change the text color for this to static resource gray 400. No, 500, or maybe let's say 600. This is fine. And let's have some margin from top. So we'll say margin left right 0, top bottom 25 maybe, or 40, 50, anything. There are no bookmarks, bookmark posts. Same thing we can do with my posts. So here we can simply say you have not created any post yet. You have not created any post yet. Save it. Okay, here we have bookmarked my posts. You see quickly we have that you have not created any post yet. That quick message. So what we should do, we should not clear this bookmark post here or my post here, because this is not a good UI. First we see there are you have not created any post, and loading is there, and after that we see the post. So this is not good thing. What we can do, we can simply get this my post dot clear from here. We will come to the call where we have fetch my posts async. Here, when we have posts, then inside this we will check if my post start index equals 0, and let's say my post dot count is greater than 0, count greater than 0, then do this, then clear this. Same thing we'll do in the second method. We'll just change the start index to this bookmark post start index, and we'll change this to bookmarked post dot count and bookmark post dot clear, and we'll remove this from selection method from here. Save these. Let's restart. All right, we are here bookmarked my posts. You see now that thing is not here. Cool. Now when we are switching, we have this thing. Right now bookmark post is empty. If I add anyone to bookmark, let's say I added this, go to bookmarks. Now I can see one post here. Come back, go back, and we can see this one here. All right. With this, I think we are good. We just need to work on this thing as well. loading the new post. We are using the start index and page size. So let's implement paging as well. We have these two collection views. Let's implement paging here only. What we'll do, we already have the methods to fetch the posts, and we have this start index related logic as well. So what we can do, we can simply convert these methods to relay commands. Alright, stop this. And then we can use these commands from our profile page from these collection views. Okay, so collection view, first one, this is my posts. So here we are going to use same threshold related property. So remaining items threshold, let's say 2, and remaining items threshold reached command. This we are going to use binding. What is the name? Fetch my posts command. Copy this and add it in this second collection view. But this time we'll change this command to fetch bookmark posts command. And just for testing, let's change the page size to maybe 3 or 4. Save it. Let's start. Alright, we have it here. So 1, 2, 3. You see, we have this activity indicator. But after that, we don't have any other. Go to bookmark. We just have one. We have two, and this is not right. This got repeated. We need to see why it got repeated. We'll work on this. Let's try to add multiple items to saved so that we can see the actual paging if that is actually working. Save, and just keep on saving. Okay, let's go to profile again and go to bookmarked. We have this one, two, and if I scroll, we have this activity indicator. It started loading the other items, and now this is the last one. Now it is not loading anything. With this, we are actually good with the profile page as well, right? Not entirely. We need to work on this image, but apart from this image, everything else is working. We can go to the detail page by clicking on the comment, close this. We can like and save and remove from save. This thing is also working. Now next thing, we'll work on this profile image functionality, and for this we will use Fusion third party control for cropping the image, because for this one we are going to use cropping the image crop functionality that we are going to work on next.